political organizer. He was born in Birmingham, educated at Leeds High School. He's also a veteran of the armed forces. While serving in the United States Army, he specialized in race relations, substance abuse prevention, and combat infantry training. Dr. Kelly graduated at the top of his class as a distinguished instructor, training graduate at Fort Ord, California, and a distinguished leadership academy graduate at Weisbach, Germany. He received several awards for his leadership and teaching abilities and training combat soldiers in Korea. While in Korea, his classes were visited by 13 generals and the Secretary of the Army. Dr. Kelly graduated from Jacksonville State University, the Gammon Theological Seminary, and the Interdenominational Theological Center in Atlanta. He has been on the board. He has participated in several civil rights organizations. He is a present member of the State Democratic Executive Committee. He is a convener of Religion and Grace for the North Alabama Conference of the United Methodist Church. And near and dear to my heart, he is a former Gadsden City Councilman. Dr. Kelly is married to Jelaine Kelly, and they are proud parents of 3 children, Jabril, Jamila, and Jemiah. We welcome Dr. Kelly.
Thank you, Reverend, for that wonderful introduction. Y'all better stop clapping before I take up an offering around. I want to thank Reverend Thompson, one of our outstanding leaders in this community. Give him a round. And all of these wonderful elected, as well as appointed officials for the city of West Point. And of course, we want to thank the teachers and all of these wonderful children. Let's give them. I want to thank the mayor. In fact, I heard a lot of good talk about him before I came here. Reverend Denson. Whatever you do, go down there and see Drew first. Hey, yeah, just for you, as far as the mayor is concerned. Amen. Let's give the mayor a great hand. And of course, this visionary and organizer, Samuel Thornton. Standing ovation of you will. I just want to hit it and quit it. I want to look at a word from the book of Deuteronomy, where our theme has come from the 6th chapter of Deuteronomy, the 10th verse. It says, when the Lord your God has brought you into the land that he swore to your ancestors, to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, to give you a land with fine large cities, that you do not build houses filled with all sorts of goods, that you did not fear him, sisters, that you did not hew vineyards and olive groves, that you did not plant, and when you have eaten your field, take care that you do not forget the Lord who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of slavery. I want to talk about our theme. Don't forget the Lord who brought you up. Also, I want to acknowledge the great church that I serve. There's a lot of great churches around here, but there's none like the church I pastor. Come to the fact that I'm pastoring it. Amen. Amen. All of our wonderful members. Good sir, and of course, maybe some Howard Chapel members who are our pastor. These are words from the prophet Moses, who addressed a major problem for the children of Israel. In fact, they were very much like us. In fact, every time God started blessing them, God started losing them. You recall how it was when Moses came down from the mountain with the 10 Commandments, and before he came down from the mountain, they were worshiping idol gods. In fact, you recall how when he led them out of slavery, they wanted to go back into slavery. You recall how when Moses died, when Joshua took over, and Joshua had marched until the walls came tumbling down. He had marched till the sun stood still. And when they got to the river, in fact, they wanted to worship idol gods. And then Joshua had to tell them, it's your thing. Do what you want to do. I can't tell you who to sock it to. Now, I know it's not like that in your Bible. That's a unity Bible spending in Kenny and a Herschel Bible. All right. And so I have come to tell you that this is a parallel with us. When God fed them bread from heaven, He fed them bread from heaven and led them by a pillar of cloud by day and a pillar of fire by night. God turned a seaway into a freeway and drowned up Pharaoh and his army, and the children of Israel marched across on dry ground. And that's what Moses is telling us. When you get into cities, which you did not feed, when you get into houses that you did not feed, when you get into olive trees and vineyards you did not plant, don't start blinging in the wilderness. In fact, don't let your children get into hip-hop before they get into holiness, get into pistols before they get into prayer, get into crack before they get into Christ, get into death before they get into man, and get messed up before they can get messed up. Dr. Ralph David Abernathy used to tell me, if black people walk so smooth in America, it's because we walk over a carpet of blood. Well, now, never forget the great and freedom fighters, both black and white, that fought for black people to progress in America. Make no mistake about it, if we had not had white people of goodwill, we'd still be enslaved. We should never forget Reverend James Reed, a Unitarian preacher who was beaten to death in Selma for our right to vote. We should never forget Viola Lugo, a white Detroit housewife that was killed in Selma, not far from here. We should never forget Goodman, Swerner, and Cheney, two blacks and a Jew who was killed for our civil rights. We should not forget one of my mentors, the late great Reverend Fred Shuttlesworth of Birmingham, who Ku Klux Klan tried to kill one night, put 16 sticks of dynamite at the corner of the parsonage at the head of his bed, blow the roof of the parsonage up in the air. The walls disintegrated on the inside. In fact, they blew him up in the air in one direction, the mattress in another direction. The springs had been found from this day to that day, but when he came down, he landed on the mattress, and they dug him up out the rubber. He didn't have a scratch on his body. We can't forget the Lord. We should never forget Dr. King, who led us in the segment of the civil rights movement. There was 13 long years, longer than the Civil War, longer than the American Revolution combined, but it's not taught in the history books due to the fact that there's a crowd that don't want our children to know their heritage or to know their struggle. If they don't know their struggle, they cannot continue to struggle. As the mayor pointed out, we have been at the foundation of some of the greatest nations that the world has ever seen. Scholars generally agree that the Pharaoh of the Exodus was a man named Ramses, a black man named Ramses. Sigmund Freud, the father of monotheism, says that Moses was a black man. The world's oldest church is called the Coptic Church, and the word Cop means black. The early founders of the church were Origen, Cyprian, Tertullian, and Augustine, who wrote the first book, theological treatise on the church called The City of God and the City of Men. In fact, the action in the Bible is located in and around Africa. The anthropologists, the paleontologists, geologists, sociologists, theological anthropologists, and every other kind of ologists, when they go in for the origin of human beings, they don't go to Europe or Asia, but they go to Africa. In fact, even the early pictures of Jesus were black. In fact, in Ezekiel, the first chapter, 26 and 27th verse, and Daniel 7 and 9, and Revelation, the first chapter, 12 through the 16th verse, in fact, it said that it had hair like lamb's wool and feet like polished brass burned in the oven. And if you don't know what lamb's wool kind of hair is, feel that it has that temporary purpose of what I would call a picture. And you'll find all the lamb's wool you can have. And then we look at the fact in the book of Matthew. In fact, Matthew talks about in his bloodline that he had at least four black women, Rahab, Tamar,
Ruth and Bathsheba. Rahab and Tamar were Canaanite, Ruth was a Moabite, and Bathsheba was a Hittite, and the Canaanites and the Moabites and the Hittites are traded back to the Amorites in the 5th chapter of Genesis. And the word Ham means black and burnt by the sun. And even the racists said that they got one drop of black blood in your blood. According to W.B. Du Bois, Dr. Alvin Davidson, and Dr. College Woodson, 50 to 100 million black people were killed in the Middle Passage, packed into slave ships like sardines in a can. In fact, were robbed of our names, our cultures, our mores, our folkways, our values, our norms, and our traditions, and the way some of us act, we have even lost our mind. We've only given Christianity to make us better slaves. But we took, watered down Christianity, the African traditional religion, and made it into a religion of freedom, justice, and equality. Some of you recall how multinational corporations would not invest in the South, Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, the way black people was treated, simply because they had to face their peer nations at the table of the United Nations. In fact, but when Dr. King busted up those segregated facilities and made it possible for people like George Washington to go to Japan and beg the Japanese to invest in the South, and now you got Toyota and Mercedes and Hyundai and Kia located here, even in West Point, because of the Civil Rights Movement. Dr. King's theme was to save the soul of America, and most people missed the point of Dr. King's great speech on the Mall when he was talking about more than just a dream. He was talking about how America had given the black man and the black woman a bad check. You do recall that we did get a bad check. Thomas Jefferson wrote the words in the Declaration of Independence that we hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal. They didn't consider us men. They called us 3/5 of a human being. In fact, the Dred Scott decision said that a black man didn't have no rights that a white man was bound to respect. And we should never forget that when I was growing up, and some of you were growing up, everything that was black was bad. In fact, if a black cat ran across the road, they said that was bad luck. In fact, you couldn't get into a fraternity, they said you were a black ball. You couldn't get a role in Hollywood, you were blacklisted, you were the politician. Wouldn't respect the women, said you were the dark horse in the race. In fact, when you look at the fact that when white people lost the money, rich white people lost the money on Wall Street store, jumping out the window, then they call that black money. But you see, they call that white money. Because black folks didn't have no money to lose on Wall Street. They didn't have no money to lose on Yellow Street. And then you can go down the store in West Point and you can get a bad tasting cake. Cake that tastes like it's been cooked in castor oil. And just because that cake white, they say, well, that's an angel food cake. But you can get a cake so good until it makes your mouth water so hard that your tongue will pop out your mouth and knock you in the back of the head and knock your brains out on the floor. And when the undertakers come to get you, you'll still be smiling. But just because the cake was black, they said there was a devil food cake. We should never forget. Black folks struggle for their freedom, along with white people of goodwill. How that we had to form the Underground Railway. In fact, we could not worship in the same church. We started the invisible institutions. In fact, black people pretended to be dumb to outsmart their camp cars. They broke holes and plows and shovels and claimed they were surprised that they took both weavers from one plantation, put it in another plantation like it was down in Enterprise, Alabama. Even black women played innocent by harming the spirituals at the same time, sewing maps of the Underground Railroad in the fabric of the quilt. Black women named Isabella Baumfree changed the name to Sojourner Truth because she had a vision in the dream that God wanted her to travel to and fro to free her people. And black women like Harriet Tubman, who traveled with a Bible in one hand, 45 pistol in another hand, traveled 20 times from a north of freedom to a south of slavery, and freed hundreds of our people. And at the end of her day, she said, I have only regret I have freed hundreds of my people, but I could have freed thousands, but many of them didn't know they were slaves. We should never forget white people like William Stewart, Senator, Governor of New York, and eventually Secretary of State are God-fearing men who helped black people on the Underground Railway. In fact, God did not use him to free black people, but he used Abraham Lincoln, a man who didn't really like black people. Abraham Lincoln was known for using the N-word, looking at darky movies and telling darky jokes. And on January the 1st, 1863, Abraham Lincoln was hesitantly signing the Emancipation Proclamation, and black folk had stayed up all night. December the 31st, 1862 is what we call watch night. Today they still having watch night services, but some of them don't even know what in the ham sandwich they're watching for. But in 1863, they were waiting on the Emancipation Proclamation. And Abraham Lincoln said, I'm not in favor of the equality of races. I'm not in favor of making black people voters and jurox, intermingling and intermarrying with white folk, and the two races must exist together. I prefer for white folks to be the superior and black folks to be the inferior. And he said, if I could save the Union without saving a single slave, then let slavery free. And so then, because the war was so bloody and the nation was divided, he had to sign the Emancipation Proclamation in order to unite the whole nation. That's why it's called the United States. And after he signed the bill, black people went through the streets singing, "Old Master Lincoln done signed the bill, but God done set us free." We should never forget 100 years after Abraham Lincoln, Dr. Martin Luther King on the Mall in Washington, D.C. was finished, and Abraham Lincoln's unfinished business when a proud black woman named Rosa Parks sat down and inspired black people to stand up all over the world and catapulted a prepared man for prepared time, and the world has never been the same since. So I've come to tell you, God has brought us from a mighty long way. He's brought us from the backwoods all the way downtown. He's brought us from the slave ship to all kind of championship. He's brought us from Chevrolet to Kia and Hyundai. And when I talk about Chevrolet, I'm talking about share one feet and they the other feet. He's brought us from Propasac and Cotton to the twins, Polly and Esther, the same hands that used to pick cotton was able to pick nails and has picked a black president. God has brought us from a mighty long way. But we still got one more road to cross. As long as prisons are being built based on third grade and reading scores of inner city children, we can't forget the Lord who brought us out. When 65% of the prisoners in the state of Alabama are black and 40% of them dropped out, we got one more river to cross. We can't forget when a black man's child is 100 times more likely to be sent to prison than they are to be sent to college. We cannot forget the Lord who brought us out as long as our professionals are packing up and our old folks are cracking up and our parents are slacking up and our children are acting up and our youth are ganging up and our communities are being robbed up and our leaders won't stand up and our churches are backing up. Somebody needs to stand up so we can glorify God, glorify the family, qualify the children, satisfy the needs, sanctify the church, satisfy the health, build the kingdom of God.
Thank you so much. You seem so small for that job. Well, outstanding. Thank you. This is courtesy of It's a Family Affair located in Atlanta, Alabama. Please give them another hand. Alicia Lynch, please come forward again. And Alicia's the little one that prayed for us, and she's going to give us a lecture at this time. And do Ms. Cagle, Cy Wood, and the bus drivers from West Point and the bus monitors who actually make your way to the front. Thank you.
You must serve my Jesus from the inside out, inside out. You must serve my Jesus from the inside out. Oh, child, and I may not know very much, but I know the word of God is true. If you read the Bible, you must serve my Jesus from the inside out, inside out, you must serve my Jesus from inside out, you must serve my Jesus from the inside out. Oh, child, and I may not know very much, but I know the word God is true. If you read your Bible, and you look down, you must serve Jesus from the inside out, inside out. You must serve my Jesus from the inside out, inside out. You must serve my Jesus from the inside out. I'm serving. I wanna clap my hands. I'm serving. I'm gonna stomp my feet. I'm serving. I'm gonna shout for joy. I'm serving. I'm gonna clap my hands. I'm serving. In my heart I know. In my heart I know. In my heart I know. Holy, holy, I'm serving.
It's now time for our special presentations. First one will be presented by Councilmember Ben Wilcox, Councilmember Judy Whittinson, Councilmember Gloria Ramsey, Councilmember Joe Allen, and Mayor.
Present George Williams. Mr. Williams started his business in the year 1968 under the name of Williams Construction. He later changed the name to Clean Masonry. He is a graduate of Harrison High School in 1958. He is a deacon at the St. John Community Church. He works with various capacities and with bus ministry and sings in the choir. Mr. Williams taught brick masonry for 2 years at Fayette Vocational School in Lafayette, Alabama. He's been married to his wonderful wife, Miss Eddie Fears Williams, for 52 years. Mr. Williams is the oldest of 5 siblings, and although he seems to be somewhat retired these days, he's still very much busy in the community as a wonderful role model for our children and our youth, and he still stays busy helping other people in the community with their construction projects.
Wonderful mayor, and Mr. Thornton, and all of the people that made up this program. And it's an honor for me to take this presentation.
Mary, right? Okay. I had to get that straight because I thought, it's not a typo. And they grew up in neighboring Alabama. Their love of sewing began at an early age, passed down from their paternal grandmother who owned a pedal sewing machine. In high school, the twins experimented with making clothes. I don't know how I didn't get to the month of taking those clothes. After graduation from the former Amira High School, Lawrence and Leon earned a bachelor's of fine arts in clothing and related arts from the Tuskegee Institute, where they made clothing for groups such as Lionel Richie and the Commodores. Leon ventured to New York for a year, but returned home to work alongside Lawrence, making custom apparel for men and women. As the years passed, the largest part of their business transitioned into tailoring and alteration. Men of deep faith, Lawrence and Leon loved living and working in the South and enjoyed the most helping people in this service-driven business. In their free time, they enjoy all types of music and vacationing to interesting places. This year, Leon retired. However, Lawrence continues to carry on the family tradition and recently opened a Thimble 2 in the same house his grandmother once lived in and practiced her craft. On behalf of the City of West Point, thank you.
I have been trying all day to find a way to introduce this person without calling her name. I turned this paper upside down, I read it over and over, but there's just no way I can do it without calling her name first, because everybody in here will know as soon as I start on the first couple lines who I'm talking about. So would Karen Cagle please come up?
Chris, why don't you come up here? And Carson. Miss Brock, Sandra Thornton and I are debating on whether or not we're ready.
Karen was born and raised in Ashland, Alabama, to the parents of John and Mary Riddle. She's a graduate from Auburn University with a bachelor's degree in elementary education. She began teaching fourth grade at West Point Elementary School in 1988. Actually, she acquired a master's degree in elementary education from Auburn University. She served as the children's choir director at the First Methodist Church, West Point, and played hand bells and the adult hand bell choir. She was named West Point Elementary Teacher of the Year and went on to be named Troup County Teacher of the Year. She's assistant principal at Hillside Elementary School from 1993 to 1995. Instructional assistant director of Title I from 1995 to 1996. She acquired an educational specialist degree in educational leadership from Troy State University. She was assistant principal at Unity Elementary School from 1996 to 1998. Principal of Lone Cane Elementary School from 1998 to 2001. Principal of West Point Elementary School from 2001 to 2011. While at West Point Elementary School, the school became one of the top number 4 performing schools in Troup County school system. She served on the City of West Point Redevelopment Committee and the Youth Service Committee. She was named Assistant Superintendent of Curriculum, Instruction, Professional Development for the Troup County School System in July of 2012. Karen is married to Chris Cagle, and she is the mother of Carson. She is a member of the West Point Presbyterian